Hare Krishna. Hare. It's good. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming over on Super Sunday to Sisi Gaurnithai's temple. Let's sing Jai Radha Madhav first. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjanaya Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की शिला प्रभुपाद की. So I want to thank from bottom of my heart to the temple management and especially Nilmani Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to speak whatever I have learned and studied from Srila Prabhupada's books and whatever I have heard from our senior devotees. This repetition, whatever I'm going to talk, it's going to mainly for my own purification and for my own benefit to improve my sadhana. So thank you again for joining on this Super Sunday. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya. Everyone can recite together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Anvitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savadutam parijana sahitam Krishna evam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Anebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. દેખાય છે? દેખાય છે? About now. Mean about now. Yeah, desktop. કેવી રીતે કરવું? It's too much of. તો રવા દો, વાંધો નહીં કરો. સેકન્ડ્સ. હા, ડુપ્લિકેટ કરી. ડુપ્લિકેટ કરી. હા, આ લઈ જાઉં, તમે લઈ જાઉં છો? આ લઈ જાઉં છું. Okay. સ્કીલ છે પ્રભુપાદ? નથી બતાવતું. જો તો હવે એમાં જ છે, સ્લાઇડમાં નીચે છે. સ્લાઇડમાં નીચે છે. સ્લાઇડ દેખાય છે? હવે કેવું દેખાય છે? સ્લાઇડ દેખાય પણ I don't see the screen. How do I come out of this?
ડુપ્લિકેટ કરો તો પણ તમારે નોટ્સ નથી, રાઈટ?
Don't નથી. I did not print that. Doesn't work? Okay, fine. Fine. No.
Google slide is
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I do. On my computer.
Save as. See if you can see the PowerPoint. See the doc in PowerPoint. Oh, he has PowerPoint. Yeah, you can open it in PowerPoint. Yeah, you can open the PowerPoint. PowerPoint works. Yeah. So save as PowerPoint and then just use the PowerPoint.
No, it's not allowing me to save as. Where do I see?
Yeah, this one. Are you connected to the?
Click करो.
This will download in your thing. Your notes are there. Now if you open the notes, so right now, click on this. Is it extended or duplicate? Click on this. Do you see the notes? Duplicate right now. Is it extended? With the notes. With the notes. Do you see the notes?
Okay, I see the notes.
Yeah, this is good. Because this is what we should show there, right?
You don't see the notes, right?
No.
So this screen, this is visible or
No,
this is
this is the
visible?
current slide.
the whole
That's
thing
the
is
next slide.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what is visible. This is not visible. This is
Do you see this?
This is being shown. This is not being
Yeah,
shown.
then it's good.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So please forgive for this inconveniency. There were some technical difficulties. Sorry, it was like I was talking to myself. Okay, sorry. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Looks like Hare Krishna. Now it's much better. Hari Bol. So we will be talking about the art of dealing with happiness and distress. So this is a universal topic, whether one is a devotee or non-devotee. This applies to everyone. And as Krishna has spoken to Arjuna, he has spoken to Arjuna at a length in Bhagavad Gita how one can overcome the grief, sorrow, and how a devotee, non-devotee can enjoy the happiness. So let's recite call and responsive manner. Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitosna sukhadukhada agama apayino nityas tam titikso saparata matra sparsastu kaunteya sitosna sukhadukhada agama apayino nityas tam titikso bharata matra sparsastu kaunteya sitosna sukhadukhada agama apayino nityas tam titikso bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, a sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Purport. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magh, January, February. It is very cold at the time, but in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. because of the knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya, illusion. So let's see what is the context that Krishna is talking to Arjuna in this verse. So Arjuna is all bewildered. He is standing in middle of the two armies, and he is all confused. He is comparing, uh, he is concerned about the compassion on the bodily platform. He 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 is he is thinking that even if I win this war, how am I going to enjoy? He thinks that if I kill my relatives, I'm going to be sinful, and my whole dynasty, there will not be any family member alive after this war. There will be a destruction of my family tradition. And Arjuna is all indecisive about whatever is going back and forth in his mind. So this way he is all confused. Uh, while Arjuna is all confused, he is seeking a help from the Supreme Lord. He's saying that I I don't know what to do. I'm all confused, and he put his bow down, and he was almost ready to leave the field. He is not ready to fight. That is the situation he is in, and Krishna is explaining him uh, that Arjuna, whatever you are talking about your relatives, you are talking on the bodily platform, material level. Every living entity has a soul, and when you kill someone, all I was interacting with their body. All I was interacting with their body. I don't know what am I doing right now. Please help me. And at this point, I am almost there to surrender myself to you and become your disciple. Guide me what you want me to do. And Krishna at that point is talking about how this situation is temporary, and he is going to get away of this situation very soon. And he is explaining how you have to be tolerant about the situation so you can be strong. You are not bewildered, and you can fight with your enemies. So let's see how word by word Krishna is explaining Arjuna. So here it says Matras Parsastu Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Matras Parsastu, the experience of sense object. Daha. Daha means cause. So something that is causing this situation where, for example, if I take my hand close to the fire, I'm going to feel the heat. If I hold the cube of ice, my hand is going to feel cold. So similarly, this situation, he's describing Krishna is describing the situation to Arjuna, that how Sita is a cold, Usna heat, Sukha is happiness, Dukha is distress. So Sita Usna they are the external feelings that one can have, while sukha and dukkha, they are the internal feelings which one goes through. Whether one is happy or one is in distress, they feel those feelings. Anitya, nitya is a permanent, anitya is a temporary. Agama is appearing, and apaino is a disappearing. So whatever we just read in the purport as the summer and a winter season, they come and go, they again come and go. So just like that, in anybody's life, they also go through different emotions. Sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are in distress. And Krishna is saying, you have to tolerate them. Krishna is saying, you also have to tolerate happiness, you have to tolerate distress. Now, one might question how to tolerate the happiness. Distress, yeah, we all understand. One has to tolerate that. How can I get out of this situation? No, that is a basic question one may have when they are trapped into a problem. O descendant of Bharat dynasty. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, you are talking all this on a bodily platform, and you are comparing your relatives at a material level. And you have to come out of this. Whatever you are thinking, you need to come out and you need to think at the level of soul. So, normally what happens is this happiness and distress are, they are what kind of feelings? If we talk about that, when a sense comes in contact with a sense object, then a person is expecting that out of that sense perception, I should have a pleasure. Right? That is a happiness. What is distress? When that expectation goes controversial or in contrary, and he does not get the result, or something that does not match to his expectation, then he is a part of a misery. He's in a pain. He goes through the pain. So happiness and distress is more of a mind game, how a person is taking the situation and how he is reacting to that situation. So in last few words, Krishna started talking about and giving Bhagavad Gita. He was talking to Bhagavad Gita verses to Arjuna, and he said, when he started talking, explaining Arjuna, he said that do not lament. Whatever your relationships that you are saying, and you think that you are going to kill your relatives, I can see that you are lamenting. Do not lament. And when he started speaking, the very first verse, Krishna says that do not lament. That is the verse number 2.11, where he says that asociana anavaschas tvam pragyavadamsa bhasse gatamsun agatamsuscha nanu sochanti pandita. So Krishna is saying that Arjuna, do not lament on this bodily, on worldly relationships. Those who are wise do not lament for the living nor for the dead. So the very first word that Krishna spoke is he's saying that do not lament. And end of the Bhagavad Gita, he is also repeating the same thing, do not lament. And where he says that in 18th chapter, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksayisyami Ma Suchaha. So Krishna is saying that Ma Sucha, do not worry. Now, in case of Arjuna, Arjuna was a powerful warrior. He had all the blessings from his martial art teacher and all his grandparents, parents to become victorious. He had a string of victories on his chest. But in spite of having this many skills, at this particular situation, he was losing the will. He did not have a power to pick up his bow and fight with his relatives who were on the Adharma side. So Krishna, when he says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, he says that surrender unto everything unto me, and I'm going to take care of situation. I'm going to deliver you. Do not worry. So the message of Bhagavad Gita says, do not lament in the beginning, in the end. If we talk about demigods, animals, human beings, they are under a different kind of constant one or the other situation. Demigods are over and above all this fear, illusion, lamentation, all those situations. They are always in the ceaseless enjoyment in the heaven, while the animals, they are always under a constant fear, and human beings, they are under a constant lamentation in whatever situation they are, whether they are happy or they are distressed. They are always worried about. So Bhagavad Gita helps us to overcome Soka Mohar Bhaya, the lamentation, illusion, and fear. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, and he is saying that Arjuna, you need to invest time. You need to think about what I'm talking about, and if you see, as soon as you have a power and you start tolerating, Arjuna needs to tolerate whatever his mind's telling him to stop. His mind is telling him not to fight because his mind thinks about his relatives. And while he was young, he was playing with his grandfather, who is on the other side of the army, and he went to school to his teacher. So Arjuna, Krishna is telling Arjuna that think about the tolerance. Now, if we talk about a worldly relationship, or if we talk in general, to sustain any relationship, one has to be a tolerant. Now, whether it's husband-wife relationships or uh, children-parent relationship, or you take any relationships, when there is a tolerance in that relationship, there is a sustainability, right? And if you want to fight with your relatives or the other party which is on the other side of the field, you have to overcome with these situations. Now, in general, people can come out of this situation by these four kind of motivated levels, where one is willing to fight with someone when there is a fear. If someone wants to achieve something or they have a desire, they are motivated to fight. Just like Duryodhana on the other side, he had a desire to sit on the throne. So he said, I'm going to fight. Somebody who is duty bound, he is going to be motivated to fight. And somebody who is motivated by love, he is also going to fight for the under this situation. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you need to come out of this situation. Now, Krishna is explaining little bit into a detail that how one can develop a tolerance. As I said earlier, when senses comes into contact of sense object, one has an expectation whether to happiness or So we have five senses, naming eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, and the respective sense object. They are, for the eyes is a form, nose is a smell, ear sound, tongue is a taste, and skin is a sense of touch. So let's talk about this um, developing tolerance. The first one is the eyes. Everybody has an expectation, like everybody wants to see everything as a picture perfect. And these days, because of the social media, uh, uh, newspaper, or movies, television, everybody is under a syndrome that is called a picture perfect syndrome. Everybody wants to see everything as a picture perfect, right? Nobody wants to see a sad picture or a morose picture. So and whatever we want to see, if I want to see somebody and somebody's happy face, I don't have control over that person's face or that person's emotions, right? I don't know what emotions or situations he or she is going through. So that person may not be happy all the time, and I may not see his happy face all the time. So similarly, happiness and distress, when we are going to ceremonies like a birthday ceremonies, wedding ceremonies, everybody is happy, so we see happy faces. On the contrary, if we go to other places where somebody is very sick or hospitalized uh, and suffering, the worst situation is a death. When we go attend those ceremonies, everybody they are in a different mood. Their faces are sad because they have lost their family member, near and dear one. So those are the expectation that people have when they interact with form of through their eyes. The second, the next one is ears. Now, this has a very different situation where everybody wants to hear good words from the other person. If I'm talking to someone at the temple, at my workplace, or somewhere out, I always think that okay, that person should always talk to me nicely, should not tell me anything that hurts me or give me a pain. Sisi Gornitai ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki jai, Sinaji Gopal ji ki jai. So not always everybody is going to talk nicely. Even Krishna has to go through a situation where he was criticized. Sisupal was had a boon that he can criticize Krishna 99 times, 100 times. So when Krishna in Krishna Lila had to go through that situation, what to talk about an ordinary person. So similarly, every time one cannot be in a situation where he is going to he or she is going to hear nice words from the other person, right? Uh, one time, a devotee went to Srila Prabhupada, and he asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, whatever I do, whether I do a good service or whether I do not so good service, I'm always criticized. So Prabhupada told him, as usual, in his wise way of returning the answers, he told that devotee that probably in your last life, you may have done something which was not worthy of all the praise which you got in your last life. So you are repaying in this life, that you are doing good things in this life, but you are still being criticized. So similarly, uh, even devotees who were uh, who were close to Prabhupada, they had to go through those situations, and they had to live in those environment. So many times what happens is, in temple we have a if we talk about the tongue, uh, on the many events we have a lot of preparations and offering being done on the altar. And what happens is, during class or the artis, everybody is looking at those offerings, and they are contemplating about those offerings, that okay, after the arti is over, class is over, we have to have prasad, and we are going to have a taste. We are going to taste those offerings, the prasadam, after this event. So and there are situations where sometimes things happens that there is a little salt or high spice or things like that happens in a prasadam, and when devotees contemplation does not go the way they thought, that okay, oh, the offerings looks good today, so that must be a tasteful feast after the class, and that might go contrary if they are contemplating on that line. So and when that their desire does not fulfill, they go through the pain that, oh, I was contemplating since last 1 hour that, oh, I'm going to have a nice prasadam, but this is so spicy, or this does not have any salt or little salt. No? So many more examples I have, but we are running out of time, and we had the earlier situation about technical difficulties. So just bear with me for a few more minutes, and we should be able to wrap up the class. So uh, two important names Krishna has said in this verse, where we see Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, and the second one is Bharata, O descendant of Bharat dynasty. So Krishna is building the willpower of Arjuna, and he's trying that Arjuna can be back into his full form so that he can fight in the Kurukshetra war. So he is giving an example of Kunti Maharani, where she was going through a lot of suffering, pain from her childhood, and even she was widowed at the very young age. And everybody knows that Pandava went through so many calamities and so many problems. So Krishna is giving an example that look at your mother, and you didn't learn anything out of the example that she has set. You need to learn out of her. You need to see her as a role model, and you need to be a tolerant. And similarly, Krishna has mentioned about Bharata, that this dynasty has went through so many problems and situations where they had to go through so much, and they were so much tolerant, that you were born into that dynasty, and you have to be equally powerful, and you have to have an equal tolerance power, so you can stand against this situation. So when we talk about the modern education, they talk about how to develop a skill in a college or a school. While in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching us how to build our willpower. So when this skill and a will, they combine and union together, that is the message of Bhagavad Gita. That how can we have a skill as well as the will to um, be happy or a distress? How we can be a tolerant into a situation, either situation, whether it's a happiness or a distress. Now earlier I said that how can be one tolerant into a happiness situation. Just an example of a student, if he gets a good grade, he would be all over, and he would think that I am the happiest person, and he would be uh, he would be proudful of his achievement, and in that course of time he become little lazy, that okay, I know everything, and in the next test he may not top the test or the exam. Similarly, the happiness that he got at the first attempt, when he got the first rank, he should have a tolerance power to tolerate that, and he should not be carried away with the situation. So that is the happiness. And similarly, the distress, there are so many examples, no need to talk about, no need to mention about that. So one can rejoice a happy moment, but shouldn't become proud or overconfident when they are going through that situation. So affected or discouraged into a situation where it's a most distressed situation for that person. So one has to have that ability and need to have a willpower to become a tolerant for both the situation. And we know that those situations are temporary. Happiness comes, happiness goes, distress comes, distress goes. And I'm sure that everyone has experienced that situation one or the other way in their life. So thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.